So, what exactly do you do as a real estate agent? Aren't you just going to be replaced by computers anyways? This is a question that I'm getting so much attention from because with the release of the new ChatGPT and all of the things that are going on in the AI world, not to mention, virtual staging and all the things, digital signing and everything, as technology progresses, agents that hide from it certainly could be replaced, but agents that use it and continue to feed it knowledge are also, possibly putting themselves at risk. Here's what you need to know. Technology is here to stay. AI is going to change the game, but you as an agent can be here in alignment with AI with just a few tweaks to what you're doing already. So stay tuned. What's up, guys? Jeremy Kane, Real Estate Agent Playbook. This is an absolute hot topic, and I am very excited to talk about this. I've had arguments with Adam, the AI guy, who's an agent within my organization. Adam just released a course on AI called Agent Prompt University. Go check that out. I'll link his stuff in the comments. But with AI constantly changing, constantly evolving, you can choose to use it as a tool, or you can definitely be left behind. But to not get replaced, we need to make sure that we are focusing on the client journey, the things that I teach and help you focus on this channel, because you are irreplaceable to a certain level. And that is what we're going to talk about. So if you like that, like, comment, subscribe, stay in touch, hit the notification bell. If you're listening over on the podcast, thank you so much for that. Please share this with your favorite real estate agent. As you know, we are focusing on helping agents win every single day at the game of real estate. So let's dive in. And this is the perfect week for this to come out. As last week, there was just a new release of ChatGPT that now can read emotions. It can talk back to you. And the amount of progress that they've made in just a few short years with just this large language model, ChatGPT, the massive things that are going on in robotics and Tesla and them doing all those things. Certainly, you have to ask yourself, are we going to be, chauffeured around by robots? Are we going to have, the same impact as agents that we have on our current clients? Well, here's the deal. There was a time when all of the data was ours, right? That time is gone. The MLS has come. It used to be, books delivered to, your offices, and you held the data. Well, then the data started getting, pushed out. And then it was like, well, we can get you into the houses. And then you had, some of the iBuyers come along and people can still get in the houses. But through all of this, the market share to the agents who are taking care of people who have the human touch continues to, own the vast majority of the market share. And so as we look at these tools, we have to understand they are going to absolutely change the way we're doing things. Replace us is a very strong term unless you let it. Right? If you're an agent and you're lazy and you're relying on, tech and your clients to find your properties, and now you're relying on, the tech to do the negotiations for you, directly, and all of those things, certainly there's a time where it'll have enough information and have enough, brain power, so to speak, to replace you. And so what do we have as agents that is not replaceable? Interesting. We're talking about your value stack. What value are you bringing? And so if nothing else, take this time to really look at AI, what it is, and describe your value in addition to what it offers or could offer in the near future. And those, certainly with robots and all the things, the possibilities are endless. But when you're developing this value proposition, as we move into this new kind of buyer commission lawsuit kind of season, this is a perfect time to look at AI and be like, okay, what value do I actually bring? And it's funny because we have empathy and emotional intelligence and all of those things, which reading some of the emotions and some of the body language things is definitely on the forefront, right? ChatGPT will be able to do that at a pretty high level in the near future. However, the responses will be kind of, big box, right? That's what it's going to be. And so when you're really dialing into that exact situation, the emotions of taking out that big loan and all of the things, you've been there. You've at least been there with other clients. And if you haven't, you've gone to school and you're on your first deal, but you've been there with other clients, that experience to draw on. What are they going through? To provide your clients with that education based on their emotions and what they're going through, what they will go through. That's all great, right? And having a conversation and talking to them about that and showing the empathy and helping them through those buyer remorse times or the frustration with inspection items or whatever that is something that can absolutely go to the next level. Then we have negotiation, those relationships, right? AI will never have a relationship with a listing agent who's reviewing offers. Now, will AI have relationships with other AIs? Certainly, that's what they've built. But if there's another agent on the other side or someone selling the home, there is an emotional tie. And I believe we're a long way from just clicking a few buttons and putting your house on the market and having a robot present all these offers of real people, right? Because these robots aren't going to be buying the homes. So you have to have those interactions at some point. And when money's involved, when emotion's involved with the home, I really think that that's the part of the situation that we need to be sharpening our skills, sharpening our awareness of what is going on truly in that buyer or seller's brains, because those are the people that are going to make the decision, right? If I don't care, if I'm a big time investor and, I just want to get the most money the fastest, well, certainly maybe robots will eventually be able to do that. However, if I'm an agent and I have, 1,000 contacts that I've reached out to using social media driven AI content, right? Whatever. Then I have actual people with the money that I can help bring to the table through my network. So that knowledge and networking is also going to be very, very important. And we talk a lot about niching down and having expertise. Well, as of this point, the large language model is very vast, right? It's going to take all of the information and spit something out. Niching down and having that network and having that specific knowledge of that neighborhood or that, architecture or whatever is super important, and the ability to problem solve, right? There's a lot of things that can go into this, but the ability to problem solve while taking into account emotions and negotiation skills and all of that, we're still a long ways off of that, in my opinion. Granted, it could happen pretty quickly, I get it, but as an agent, if you're just focusing on new people and people that you don't have these relationships with and so on, this could be something that could push you out eventually, because that's who's going to start taking advantage, right? The people that are up and coming, whether it's Gen Z or the next generation, they're going to be used to AI. They used it through elementary school, middle school, high school, just like we're comfortable with, computers, and the next generation is super comfortable with the cell phones and all the things. Like, they're going to be comfortable with AI. So that's really where the turning point might be. And those people are a long ways from being of home buying age, right? And so if we continue to push the narrative and talk to people about, how we're using AI and using AI as a tool, certainly we're making it a stronger, smarter tool as we're doing it. But the fact that we're using it and taking it to our clients and the information that it can serve so that we can be the resource and the delivering asset, we're still, in this age where people want to do belly to belly business, right? People want to shake that hand. People want to have that conversation. And as we continue to push through this, that's even more important, right? As the assets get more expensive, as the real estate gets more expensive, as, interest rates change, and there's so many options for lending and all of this stuff, and affordability is a thing. Like, all of these emotions are going to come into it. And it's not just by the book, big, vast, generic responses, and it's going to be a long time before you can be replaced if you're providing this experience, this in-person touch, this in-person emotional, intelligent experience. That's where it's at. So make sure that the experience is amazing. Certainly we can use it for, mass communications and the things that we're doing, and help us write descriptions and help us even negotiate from, hey, this is what I have going on. What do you see, right? I know my buddy Adam, like I mentioned earlier, he would probably disagree, and he's probably stopped watching this video by now, but he, has uploaded zoning codes to have conversations with appraisers and things of that nature. So there is really a way to use ChatGPT or any of the large language models as a weapon. And if you can use it as a weapon to better your knowledge and to better the client's experience, it's only going to take it further to the next level and the next level. And so we have one chance to make this home buying or selling experience as good as it can be, right? It's a stressful time. And so that's super important. And then the trust is built and it's there. And so the trust and the ethical standards that come into play are absolutely a piece of it, right? And this is of utmost importance, even if we are going down the AI and we're using AI, is how you use it is of utmost importance. And ethically, to use it with ethics in mind is certainly important, especially if you're a realtor and so on. So what we have to do is take all of the vast knowledge, take the resource that it is, and incorporate our human touch into our clients, right? I absolutely am not a fan of the canned drip campaigns, right? You can use ChatGPT, you can infiltrate your personality, your speaking styles, all of the things. Adam goes into all of that in his course, but you can use that to better the experience, to give that human touch. And that's where we're at right now. Now, people think I'm crazy, but I just think that the human touch is always going to be a piece of buying and selling real estate because it is such an emotional piece with, people that are living in their homes, primary residents, and so on. I understand that a large majority of the buyers right now are cash and industrial investors or mom and pop investors. That industry or that side of it, that niche could see some changes. And as I talk about all the time on this channel, as your niche changes and adapts, you might not get the same result from the same niche if you're not adapting alongside of it. So AI is an amazing tool. It's just as real estate agents, we need to focus on those experiences, on those direct communications, those interactions, so that we can have a business that is not replaceable by a robot or by a computer system, and we can move forward. So I hope that helped. I am, more than happy to chat about this anytime. I love hearing different perspectives. Like I said, my guy Adam thinks that, the robots and everything's taking over. That's great. He provides so much information in that course that he just launched, so check that out. But on the other side of it, let's make sure that we're focusing on our client experience, control what we can control, use the tools as resources, but do not ever let it replace that human touch, because once that human element is gone, it'll be a lot easier for these things to come in and replace us because they are more, adequate and they're more responsive, and they can go through a lot more data than I can, certainly in a short amount of time. So please like, comment, subscribe, get out there, get you a win today, and make sure you're taking care of those people, shaking hands, kissing babies, giving hugs, doing all the things. We'll see you next time.